So after talking about these three possible relationships we could have between the attitudes and behaviors, we're gonna focus our whole attention on this dissonant relationship. So in this slide, I'm going to talk about a concept called the magnitude of dissonance, and the two possible factors deciding the magnitude of this dissonance. So by definition, this magnitude of dissonance refers to the level of discomfort caused to the individual or to the person. So we have said when people's attitudes and behaviors are not consistent with each other, people would experience some discomfort. So the magnitude of dissonance refers to what extent do people experience this conflict? To what extent do people experience this discomfort? And this magnitude of dissonance is determined or is affected by two factors. And we're going to talk about these two factors. The first one, we call it the importance of cognitions. That is, how much value you would place on the cognitions or the behaviors. So, in other words, how much do you care about the inconsistent two things? So let's say if you put lots of value on on your cognitions or on your behaviors, and then you are going to experience a larger or greater magnitude of dissonance in the relationship. And in this situation, it is usually very difficult for people to determine or to make a firm decision which action or thought is correct. Let me give you one example. So I got a friend, and this friend, she is a Christian. So as you can imagine, religion is a big part of her life. At the same time, she was also dating a guy who is not a Christian. So in the situation, she began to struggle because both of her religion and this relationship have a good place, have a very important place in her heart. And when these two things clash, it is very difficult for her to make a decision of priority. So in this situation, she experiences lots of or large, very heavy cognitive dissonance. And her magnitude of the dissonance is very, very high. And in contrast, let me give you another example to illustrate if the cognitions are not very important and our magnitude of dissonance will be relatively low. So let's say I claim that I'm a big fan of the TV show Game of Thrones. And let's say tonight the latest episode is coming out. So I plan to stay home and watch it tonight. But here is a cute guy who I have a strong crush with. And this cute guy is asking me out for romantic dinner. So, well, in this situation, I probably won't give it a thought. I would definitely go out with this cute guy for dinner, for a date. So in this situation, I didn't experience any struggle because compared with this cute guy, I don't quite care about the TV show The Game of Thrones. So in this situation, apparently, this TV show, this Game of Thrones, is not that important compared with this cute guy. And in this situation, I do not experience a lot of magnitude of dissonance because I place very little importance on this TV show. But my friend, she is struggling because she places a lot of importance on both of these two issues, her religion and also this relationship. So she has a lot of magnitude of dissonance, and apparently she is struggling. And the second factor affecting to what extent do people experience the dissonance is the ratio of cognitions. And this refers to proportion of dissonant to consonant elements in a relationship. If you experience way more dissonance compared with consonance between your attitudes and beliefs, the magnitude of this dissonance will be, of course, larger. Let me use an analog to illustrate this idea. So let's say in my life, I have been in two serious relationships. One is my ex-boyfriend and one is my current husband. Well, let me first describe the life living with each of them. So I'm an outdoor person and I would like to go out for hiking, for running, really going into the wild. But my ex-boyfriend, he is totally a homebody. So all he does for his spare time is, playing video games, watching shows, and eating burgers in his couch. So literally, he is a couch potato. Even though he looks cute, but I decided I want to dump him because our lifestyles do not match with each other at all. Our lifestyle, our values, our hobbies are so different with each other. So we experience lots of dissonance with each other. In other words, we have more dissonance than consonance. In this situation, the ratio between dissonance to consonance is pretty high with my ex-boyfriend. And let's talk about my current husband. He's an outdoor person, but what he likes is, some slow and still outdoor activities. Such as, he could find a place in the woods and sit there for all the day, for a whole day. So I thought it's a little bit kind of boring compared with, hiking, climbing, running. So, but compared with my, where is my mouse? Compared with my ex-boyfriend, well, at least he goes out, right? There is some constants. So in this situation, I admit that for my current husband, we do have some dissonance in terms of the specific activities we want to do in the wild, but we also have some kind of consonance. We at least have some similarities. So the ratio of the dissonance to consonance is not that high compared with my ex-boyfriend. So same logic to our conations. So let's say, I'll give you guys an example to illustrate the idea of this ratio of conations. So let's say I have a strong desire for a good-looking body shape, okay? So this is the goal I want to achieve, and this represents one of the conations I value a lot. So to achieve this goal, I have made plans. I have made lots of plans for my workout, for my calories intake to achieve this goal. And this is my attitude, or we can say it is a connection. And let's say for this past week, okay, for different reasons, I didn't go to the gym. I didn't follow the plan I have made for my workout, and I didn't follow the diet plan either. I eat lots of junk food, and have kind of intake lots of calories. So in this situation, I really want to kill myself because my behaviors are so far away from my attitude. They are so inconsistent or contradictory with my initial plan, my attitude, or my cognition. But for the following week, I want to make some adjustment. I want to make some kind of changes. I'm still too lazy to go to the gym. I'm still kind of sitting in the couch for the whole week. But luckily, I kind of changed my diet. I began to eat some kind of green stuff. I abandoned all the burgers, all the junk food. So there is still some kind of dissonance, but I have achieved some consonance here. Okay, so we can see that compared with the first week where I eat junk food, where I don't work out, the ratio of this dissonance to consonance began to drop in the following week because I began to adopt a healthy diet, even though I'm still kind of sitting on the couch and do not do any workout. So again, in this situation, I experience the magnitude of my dissonance in the first week is pretty high because this ratio of cognitions, the proportions of dissonance to consonance is pretty high. But for the second week, I don't experience really a lot of discomfort because this ratio began to drop. And same thing with my Christian friend. Let's say probably it is kind of okay and acceptable for her to date and marry a person who doesn't have any religion beliefs, right? So there is, we can say that there is some distance, but it's not that big. It is kind of acceptable, but it is definitely not okay, not acceptable at all for her to marry a guy who believes in a completely different religion. Okay, so in this situation, she will experience a lot of a really large distance because they have too much distance between her and another person, a guy who believes in a different religion. So all in all, we can say that sometimes it is acceptable when there is some inconsistency between your behaviors and cognitions. But when there is too much inconsistency, you may want to do something to make them consistent, right? Or at least to bring it back to an acceptable ratio. But the point is, the more dissonance there is, the more uncomfortable people would feel. So next, we're gonna first to kind of summarize what we have learned so far, and then we're gonna talk about what kind of things people could do to resolve this inconsistency. Okay, so we have learned the basic arguments of this theory, and we're gonna put everything together, and this is kind of the major tenet of this theory. So first, we've learned that people are sensitive to dissonance between their attitudes and behaviors. So people can experience some kind of dissonance when their attitudes and behaviors are not consistent with each other. And when this situation occurs, people would feel kind of some discomfortable. They would not feel comfortable with it. And to address or to reduce this discomfort, people would do something to reduce this dissonance. So next, in next video, I'm going to talk about different ways we can use to reduce this dissonance, to address this discomfort. I'll see you guys in next video.